Okidoki. When you hear the words Shonen Jump, the first thing that comes to your head is probably Battle Shonen. Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, Black Clover, the list goes on and on. However, these days, you'll probably start to notice shows that don't quite fit that same formula. Dr. Stone, Spy X Family, Mashle. Sometimes there are similarities, sure, but quite a number of Shonen Jump entries aren't all about punching hard or having the coolest superpower. Honestly, it's been like this since the beginning, Death Note and Nisekoi also being previous entries in the magazine. Though today we'll be talking about a different Shonen Jump manga, Akane Banashi, a somewhat new entry that started in February last year, centering around a young girl called, who would have guessed, Akane Osaki. Her last name is Osaki. Instead of wanting to be the Pirate King or the Wizard Emperor, Akane wishes to join the world of Rakugo, a traditional form of Japanese storytelling where a single performer, or Rakugoka as they are usually called, sits upon a cushion and tells a story while playing every single character. If your first thought after hearing this is,
"That sounds really boring,"
you should really read the first chapter. It's something we see quite often in the medium, stories taking inspiration from seemingly mundane activities like cooking or playing card games, and adapting them into something exciting and fun to watch. And with Rakugo being all about telling stories, it seems like the perfect candidate for, well, telling a story. A story that sucks you in, a story that leaves you wanting more, a story that immerses you inside a story. But how does Akane Banashi immerse you? Well, the first thing we should look at is the fact that this is a manga. As of writing this, Akane Banashi, despite its popularity, has not received any announcement for an anime adaptation, so we're working within the confines of a silent and static medium, which is kind of contradictory to the art of Rakugo being a performance that uses both your voice and body. However, Akane Banashi is able to make up for these caveats via the strength of its art direction and its writing. To go back to what I said earlier, Rakugo is a performance where one person plays all the characters in a story, with only the pitch, tone, and the direction the Rakugo is facing being the indicators for which piece of dialogue belongs to which character. I'm sure you can imagine with manga being without sound or movement, it must be somewhat difficult to make these Rakugo stories legible to most readers. However, Akane Banashi is able to circumvent this by warping reality with fiction. The simplest example is something we see quite early, where we just draw the characters alongside the Rakugoka. If you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed that the art style for Rakugo characters are a bit different from the normal characters. Since Rakugo is passed down generation to generation, these stories are all set quite a bit in the past, the Edo period being a popular era for many of them. That's why, whenever we see these hazy figures appearing in the panels, they're depicted with a rougher, more traditional line art reminiscent of brushstrokes on a canvas. You might even notice that speech bubbles or even panel lines are drawn differently. The real world confined in smooth straight lines while the fictional stories are bound in a messier, more hand-drawn style. There's also the fact that these characters are so expressive. When the only tools you have available is your own body, acting plays a big role in Rakugo. Being able to express how these characters feel using only your face and body language is vital, and Akane Banashi executes this perfectly with how emotive everyone is, ranging from the faces they make to the posture they're in, oftentimes it's matching with the manifestations depicted alongside them, whether it's shock, seduction, or pure animosity, which is something we see extend outside the stories, with characters morphing to fit more comedic moments or being drawn much harsher when the scene calls for it. It's something you see quite often in many manga, but the amazing art of Akane Banashi makes them look all the more impressive. And Akane Banashi has amazing art. Each character design is distinct and able to portray personality from nothing but a gaze, which we see used to display the specific ways each Rakugoka tells their stories. We see page spreads which can only be described as a work of art, expressing these intense emotions each character is able to portray. Even these smaller panels have so much impact behind them. Every chapter is a joy to look at. But back to the reality warping, it's not just the art style getting us so absorbed into the story. Let's jump to the Karaku arc, where Akane enters an amateur competition on the condition that she can only use the story Jugemu. If you've seen that one gag from Fullmetal Alchemist or the ending song from Joshiraku, you're probably somewhat familiar with the story about a kid with an outrageously long name. It's basically a funny little tale about repeating the same joke over and over, laughing at how inconvenient such a long name is. We've just come off two amazing back-to-back performances from standout rivals, so we along with the audience are wondering how on earth Akane is going to win when her story only has the one punchline. All we can do is watch as she starts to tell the story, with a father going out to the temple to ask for a name that will bring good fortune. The monk starts to list them out, explaining the significance behind each name. Tsurutaro Tsurunosuke is the name for Japanese cranes that live for 1,000 years. Kamitaro Kaminosuke is a turtle that can live for 10,000 years. Jugumu comes from the Infinite Life Sutra that translates to infinite blessings. Meticulously, we explain each and every part of the long name, all in some way representing a long and happy life. The reason why Jugumu's name is so long is that back in the Edo period, childhood death was so common that mothers and fathers would seek names that aspired to long life, all for the simple wish of a parent wanting to see their children grow up to become adults. We're learning about the history behind what was initially just a silly gag, forgetting about everything else, the previous performances, the stakes at play, just relaxing and falling into this comforting state of bliss. The setting slowly fading from a Rakugo stage to a village in Edo, a mother playing a game of peekaboo with her missing child. The baby is gone, and so is Akane. If you haven't noticed, there's a sort of meta aspect to these stories within Akane Banashi. What we're seeing here is not just a baby crawling away because it took so long for a mother to say his name, but the idea that Akane has disappeared from the stage, the story taking over as she fades away, completely captivating both the audience and the readers. This is how the writing hooks you for each story, the expressive art style mixed with the meta-narrative of Akane's performances, allowing you to visualize not only the characters she depicts, but how they connect to the journey that she is going through. Whether it's showcasing how she's improving as a Rakugoka, or depicting the relationship she has with everyone close to her. And that's why Akane Banashi is so good at immersing you within the stories inside a story. This manga knows how to utilize its incredible art to draw you in, each character being a master of capturing your attention, but it also knows when to hold back, to not muddle the page more than it needs to simply let the strength of its writing take center stage, to the point where I actually start to tear up by the end of some of these performances. Which is why Akane Banashi is one of my favorite manga in Shonen Jump right now, which actually leaves me a little bit worried about the anime. The fact that Akane Banashi plays so well with the strength of manga makes me wonder if an anime will be able to elevate this properly. While I can see it doing well with amazing voice acting and excellent directing, I can also see a subpar adaptation that either fails to capture the impact of the art, or decides to only translate scenes one-to-one without understanding why they are drawn and written in this way. The anime has a chance to make me fall in love with the story all over again, so I can only hope that I can be as immersed in the anime as I am with the manga. And with that, thanks for watching. I graduated uni a while ago, so right now I'm focusing all on YouTube, aiming to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, which I think is pretty doable. I'm almost 3/4 of the way there, but I'm also job hunting at the moment, so I might be getting busy soon, which obviously means less time for YouTube. Whatever happens, I hope you guys continue to enjoy my videos, and be sure to like, subscribe, share them around. Any support you guys can give would be greatly appreciated. Honestly, I'm still shocked to see so many people enjoying the videos I make, so I'm going to continue doing what I love for as long as I can. Thanks for watching. If you want me to drown in the river with Jugumu, let me know in the comments below and tell me your thoughts while you're down there. Like and subscribe for more content. It's a race against time to see if we can hit 1k. That's what I want to say. I hope you all have a good day.